Welcome to Business on Purpose, the podcast for hardworking entrepreneurs who drive our economy. I'm your host, Barrett, and as a sales leader and business owner, I understand the challenges that come with entrepreneurship. Each episode, I am interviewing business owners who have faced the same struggles you have. Low revenue, a lack of scalability in their sales force. Together, we're going to explore their entrepreneurial journey and uncover the valuable lessons they've learned along the way. From mentors to advice, we'll dive deep into what has helped these business owners get unstuck and move forward towards success. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned entrepreneur, the podcast is for you. Be sure and follow and subscribe to this podcast as we learn from the experiences of successful business owners and navigate the road to entrepreneurship together. Let's get started. Welcome to the podcast. I have a very special guest, my nephew, Barrett. He works at Auto Excel like every single other person in our family. I love it.
Yeah.
Cole, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I love it. This is exciting. Mike, my brother, who is Cole's dad, was my first guest ever. And if you know us, you'll know why, because that's just the way things go in our household. 100%. So Cole, tell everybody how you got your start in the business.
It wasn't expected. So my start was really, I was working at a different job. I came with my mom here to pick something up from Auto Excel. Dad said, "Hey, I need some help. You want to work?" I was like, "All right, that sounds like a great plan, but let me think on it." And so I thought on it a little bit, and God was telling me at my other job, "Hey, this isn't for you. You need to do something." So every day I was just getting madder and madder at this whole job. And one day I just called him. I said, "I think I'll do it. I'm ready." And so he's like, "All right, and show up." So we started shadowing and doing what we needed to do. And when he asked me, I thought being a technician, I'm like, I don't know if I'd like that. Well, it ended up being the service advisor. And now I am where I am, being a leader at Auto Excel.
Yeah. So you're a leader at Auto Excel. What leadership role do you have? You're 22 years old. That's long in the tooth. No.
Yeah.
What role do you have?
So the roles that I have is I'm the marketing and sales manager. I got the opportunity to be the implementer for our new EOS that we're just getting started. I'm new.
You're the integrator. I am
integrator. You're the implementer. I'm the integrator. I always get those two mixed up. That's correct.
It's an easy thing.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm getting to train Matthew and be the lead that everybody goes to when it comes to marketing and sales, and I guess the top of the head when it comes to making decisions, other than Mike Barrett.
Yeah, I was really reluctant about being your implementer because of the family dynamic. But then I'm thinking, what's the difference? I've been in the business. Yeah. I used to have your seat in the sales and marketing seat. I was the first sales and marketing leader of Auto Excel. You are the current one, and I think you're doing a better job than I ever did. So congratulations.
I appreciate that.
We know you are. We talk to our kids. Mike talks to you. I talk to Luke about our ceiling being your floor. Do you feel like that is the case?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I know that you all have a high ceiling. You all put the work and the effort in, but you all are I don't want to sound bad, but you are like our stepping stone. What's going to propel us into what needs to be higher? That's the job of the parent. You want your kid to be better than you, right? So I do think of it that way. I didn't at first, trying to be humble. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm higher than dad. I don't want to be higher than dad, but I'm not higher than dad, but I have a better position to start out in.
Yeah, man. When I was growing up, I'd look at somebody. I'm like, dude, you didn't hit a home run. You were born on third base. And I'm not saying you're born on third base, but man, but it also can be harder being the son of a business owner. Tell us about what you think are your unique struggles of being the son of, especially Mike Barrett. Let's be him a while.
Yeah, let's do it. So the tough part is it's a father-son dynamic. So there's times where you want to talk as business of what I have this idea, and it can turn into either, my dad said it, I'm not going to listen to it because it's my dad, or my son said it. He doesn't know. That's a unique struggle that we have had.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And so he's made tremendous strides, as have I, to not do that. But and another struggle that I've had is when I first started, that's what I was seen as, is you're the I'm the coach's son. You got this position. You got your job because you're the coach's son. I was the coach's son that the coach yelled at. I wasn't the coach's son that was like, oh, he's the quarterback.
If you know our family, it can be, maybe people might see it that way, but we are a meritocracy in our family. We do not care that your last name is Barrett. We care that you come to work, you work hard. But the only difference is if you're a Barrett, you are held to a higher standard.
100%.
Yeah,
because it's you're taking on the family name. Like your mess up is my mess up as a Barrett. It affects the family.
I had him as a boss too, and he was a tyrant to me, just like he is you. That's fine. A loving tyrant.
Yeah.
No, he's a good guy, man.
He is.
One thing you know about Mike is he loves you. That's it.
Yeah.
Whether if you're an employee, he loves you, and that's it. That's one of the things about I love working in our shop is it is a love shop. So one of the things is you're the nephew, and you have uncles that work with you, and a nana that works with you. Tell us about the spaghetti of that.
Yeah, it's difficult to be that guy that your uncles had to look up to at the job that they have to go to make decisions. Not that they're open to their own decisions, just to ask for help and stuff of that nature. And when it comes to making decisions, big decisions, to get my input on it, I think it really wasn't tough for me. I can't speak to what they think, but I think it was a little bit tougher for them, especially my nana, because here I'm not just the nice grandson, but I'm also trying to do the job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just love you and say, oh, it's okay, when it's not. And I think my uncles see that too. And when I say something, sometimes they can get what, because I'm not the nice nephew that I am at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah. My clients, I tell them, I'm like, hey, if you want to learn how to have really tough conversations and still have Thanksgiving dinner taste good, I'm probably your coach, because we resemble that. You and I never worked together, though. I always wonder how that dynamic would have been.
Yeah, I've thought about it too, because our personalities are very similar in the way that we do what we do. So I don't know, just the way that we kind of work together would be almost identical, which can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, I think so too. I talk about this sometimes, but I have only, this is maybe a little bit off the right field or left field or whatever, but I've only had to discipline you one time in your entire life. Do you remember it?
I don't really. I remember, I don't know if this is the time you're talking about, but I don't remember what I said or what I did, but you made me apologize to Luke to it. And I cried like a baby. And this was when we lived in Lexington together. Like Luke was a kid. I don't know if you remember. I remember that.
Maybe
but I don't remember what I said.
Maybe I've only disciplined you twice then.
Yeah, I thought that's the only time that I remember.
That's so good. The only time that I remember is we were living in our first house, and I was watching you. I think you were like 5. I don't know, man. It was really young. And there was a stake in the backyard where people were building fences and things like that. And you were messing with one of the stakes. And I said, Cole, you don't mess with the stake. Number one, it's dangerous. And number two, the stake is there to set property lines to make sure that, and then you went over it. You really wanted the sword. And, and you pulled it out. And this is the only time I ever disciplined you. I made you stand in the corner or something dumb, like whatever. I would never hit another nephew. It just not for me. It has never been. But that's the only time. And I'm like, man, I get along with my nephew like crazy. And so I've always loved that. I always wondered if we worked together, what would it be like? But it would be fun. I think it would be fun. We would probably have too much fun.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's good. So you're right now, you're a very young leader, but for me, you're a wise leader. You've been raised well. I know we've all messed up some, but you really are wise beyond 22 years old. Like I would think if I was coming in, you make decisions like you're in your mid 30s. And I love that. Where are you taking the shop now? Where is it today, and where do you envision it going?
Right now, we almost had, when I started, little bit after I started, I'd say we had to restart what we were doing. So we had some two losses that were major at the time. Now we had to restart ourselves. Now we're on the track of getting people. Unfortunately, boss man dad is back there turning wrenches like I know he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
So that's one of my goals, is to get in the heck up out of there, getting the heck up out of the office that I'm sitting in, put my butt in this office.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm trying to learn is expansion eventually. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to, is getting another shot of Auto Excel, getting the name out a little bit more in some other places. But right now we're building slowly, but we're building I wouldn't say slowly. I'd say it's a good pace.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to get the people in that we need to, which is everybody's struggle right now. But once we get people, we're going to take some major strides.
Yeah, I love that. And right now, what is one thing that you're really working on that is helping you build your business out?
One thing that as a business we're working on is upping our goals and tracking the goals daily, like not just myself, but even Matthew, even Nana, even the technicians are tracking their goals to improve. And we all set our goals higher. We're now 20% better as we were last year at this point,
Nice.
which is a major accomplishment to us. Myself, when it comes to growing, is starting to read more. I know you and Dad are giving me books left and right to read, and that's a struggle for me. Is I hated reading, especially when somebody told me you have to read this. I was like, I'm not reading that crap. No matter what it was, it's the greatest book ever. I'm not reading it. And then another, and journaling.
Mm,
So I'm writing down. I call it my 5 and 5. So I write down at least 5 quotes and at least 5 things that I learned from those quotes. So it's page by page, lined up, parallel to one another. This is the quote. This is what it's taught me, and I put it
mm.
into my own life. So that's how I'm improving. And then the business is, of course, tracking what we need to be tracking.
Yeah. So look, you're really reading, and yeah, you're right. You don't not hang around or work with or for me and Mike and not read. It's not a
Yeah.
thing, right? There's no, it's just like when people will say your nephew or your son or niece or your daughter, they're well behaved and respectful, and I just look at them and say they don't have a choice.
It's the truth. I can't really debate that. They don't have a choice.
Yeah. And your son Aaron, he's not going to have a choice either.
No.
Yeah. You do what you're told, or you'll just do what you're told. That's
Yeah.
basically your options. Yeah. So what if you're a young guy and you're on the uptick and you've got a young family, and how old is Aaron?
He's 4.
And you've been married for a little bit, right?
Yep. This will be our 2nd year in August.
Yeah, I love it. And so how are you balancing and navigating this, being a business leader in the family business and being a father and a husband?
That is a balancing act that I am definitely working on. I wouldn't say I'm the greatest at it at all, but I devote my time when I'm here, but as soon as I get off here, I call my wife first thing, call my mom first thing. Aaron is the first person I give a hug to, and he gets my undivided attention when I get home. So when I get
Yeah.
home, I forget about Auto Excel. It not as I don't care about it, but it's not going to be my focus, because if I focus on what happened here, my wife and my son will feel unappreciated, and vice versa.
And in your opinion, do we in our shop, do we encourage that?
We encourage for you to stop thinking about Auto Excel when you're not here. We've seen it countless times of how it affects those who care too much about it, overthink what's going on. They don't have a good home life. So that's
Yeah.
not what we're here to do. We're here to make money so you can improve your life.
Yeah, we have had service advisors that are constantly trying to think about after hours, coming in early, staying late, and we're constantly saying, "Do not do this. You will burn out." And they're saying, "No, we won't." And then they eventually leave because that happens, and we're like, "We
Yeah,
tried to get you to not do those things."
without a doubt.
Family's very important. That's why we're not open on weekends.
Yeah, that's
Look,
exactly why.
if you can't do it Monday through Friday, we don't need to do it, because I call them strong ends, right? You got to have those strong ends and
Yeah,
live that life. You don't live to work, you work to live.
without a doubt.
Yeah. What other passions do you have outside of work?
As if anybody knows me and dad, it's hunting. That is our
Yeah.
passion. So right now is of course turkey season. So right now that gets a lot of attention from me and him. He's getting ready to leave to Mexico, matter of fact, to go on his, and
Yeah.
I've got to go up to see a family friend to go mine. That's definitely a major thing. And of course, our faith was
Hmm.
Barrett's were definitely faith filled. Just got off of this Emmaus walk, and it was absolutely amazing. It was well needed, taught me a lot, and so that those are our passions outside of here. It's family, hunting, and faith. That's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
good.
sum up me and Mike Barrett. It's hunting, family, and faith.
Oh yeah, I love that, man. I tell people that Mike, they say, "What does Mike do for a living?" I'm like, "He hunts," and then and then he has an automotive repair shop to support that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh, that's so fun, man. That is so fun. You're looking at buying the shop one day, true?
That's correct. Yeah. So dad's goal is to retire by 55. So that gives me to 2030 to get my act together, and I will be a 30-year-old business owner at that point in
Does he know he's 47?
time. He knows it. He doesn't like to say it, but he knows it. I
Yeah.
believe.
He doesn't act like it sometimes.
He don't act like it at
Yeah.
all.
So you've got roughly 6 or 7 years to complete the purchase of
That's
Auto
right.
Excel.
That's right.
What has been your plan to do that?
Honestly, I'm a little bit behind on that plan, but
Okay.
it's like it's saving the money to do, taking the time to focus on what I need to do to get there. That's definitely what I'm working on is figuring out how I need to do that, understanding the business before I purchase something I don't understand. Like focusing my time when I'm here, not to just selling and taking care of the customers, but also focusing on what the business needs to do and how to improve it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So what do you need to do to get back on track to be able to purchase the business?
One, it's savings. That's something that I've always been bad at is seeing what I make on a paycheck and, oh, I could buy this, oh, I could buy that, oh, I could do this, oh, I could do that. So it's the fact of holding on to it and not spending it, living off of my 10% of what I make, which is hard for me to do.
Yeah.
That's like my thing is to start doing that. And I have been working on it, but it's just something I still got
Yeah.
to improve on.
There's a good book by, you imagine, right?
Yeah, that's all right. I'm all
by
about it.
by David Bach that's really good that talks about that and a lot of things that I want you to do. And 22 is very hard to do it because there's this, you almost get this afraid to lose something, but it's pay yourself first, right?
Hmm.
They take taxes out of your check.
Hmm.
So why don't you just pretend like you have to pay 10% more in taxes, that they raised your taxes 10%,
Yeah,
and just have that go out of your check before you ever see it, just like the government does.
yeah, that is a great idea. It's to out of sight, out of mind kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're not focusing on that. Just take it out.
So when are you going to start that?
Oh, ASA freaking P, man.
That's not a time. What day?
So I get paid Thursday. So Thursday,
So Thursday, you're going to start automatically taking
remove.
out 10% to put somewhere else, like you're taxing yourself.
That is correct.
And that's what it's like to be a Barrett, folks.
There,
Mike says this all the time. Don't worry about the mule going blind. Just load the wagon.
yeah. That,
Right.
I love that is one of the sayings that used to tick me off as a kid, but I use it now because I love it so much.
100%.
Because I
Yeah.
get to use it now. It's
It's
a good
like,
saying.
it's like Gandhi said, first they make fun of you, then they fight you, and then you win.
Yeah.
So when we say stuff like that, first you kids made fun of us, and then you got older and you fought us, and then we won. I
Yeah.
tell people don't ever fight with your kids, but if you do, never lose.
No, never lose.
We never lost. So good, man. What's your biggest struggle right now in the business?
I'd have to think on that. It was just like my biggest struggle, really. And I was told the other day that this wasn't true, but what I thought of my biggest struggle being is to delegate and elevate and dropping the ego. As salespeople, it's about how much can I sell? What's my commission going to be? And it's not what it's about. Watching the service advisors under you, you don't want to give up your people, but to watch them grow so you can get out of the seat that you're in to move up higher is key. that, and dropping that ego of I'm going to allow this to happen is definitely something that I'm working on, and that I think I'm making massive strides in, because I don't want to be that guy that is a service advisor 15 years into the business. I want to be a business owner 10 years
Yeah.
in.
You have a unique, like Matthew, my little brother, and Nancy, my wife, always reminds people, it reminds me to tell people that my little brother he's 40 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I still talk about him like he's like 15.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of ways, I still think about him that he's that
Right.
young, which is the hard part. So you're there, you're leading him. And by the way, he has made one of the most dramatic changes in life. He was a brick mason. And then he started selling, and I would have never guessed it. He is one of the best salespeople in a short amount of time that you're going to come across. Is he not?
Yo, he really is. He has made massive strides in it. When he first got started, he was a brick mason before he did this. So
Yeah.
he's not good at sales. At least he thought.
Yeah.
And so when he started this, he'd get nervous on the calls and stuff like that. And now he's doing phenomenal. And
Yeah.
I
He's
thought I
kicking
was
it.
doing, yeah, I thought I was doing good when I first started, but man, he's really kicking it. And he's not
Yeah.
seeing the amount of cars that he's used to, because he's really just got started at it. But the cars that he's getting, he is without a doubt capitalizing on what he's
Yeah.
got.
I feel like I'm bringing everybody over to the dark side, because when we started this whole journey, I was the only salesperson in the family, and now I've
Yeah.
got two. Now I've got two more. I'm
Yeah.
bringing people over to the dark side, right? Yeah, it's good. And then we've got Brian out back. He's co-leader. He's our operations leader. He's the
That's right.
youngest brother. So
Yeah.
what's the dynamic look there?
Me and Brian, we actually get along very well, being that we're only 15 years apart.
Yeah.
So we're not that far different. He's Matthew gets mad at this, but when somebody asks who's the youngest, they always think it's him, because Brian is such an old soul.
Yeah.
And me and him have that in common, which he barely knows what a computer is half the time. So he's old. But me and Brian, we get along very well. We've definitely had our debates and our frustrations with each other. But me and Brian's dynamic as co-leaders has worked out beautifully, just like
Yeah.
I figured it would.
I love it. Yeah, a lot of people that my other three little brothers, or not little, my other three brothers, they all carry around a beard. And
Mm-hmm.
I already shaved mine off. I had one this
Yeah, I
weekend,
noticed
but
that.
yeah. But a lot of people think that I'm the youngest when they look at pictures, and I'm like,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's good, man.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for people who they're working in a family business, and if they were entering into their family business, what advice would you give them?
Be open to any criticism, but be willing to change. Don't go in thinking my way's right or dad's way's right. Be open to change. Another thing is, like I said, drop the ego. That's definitely not something you want to go into. And don't tell people what they want to hear. Tell them how it is.
Mm. How long did it take you to learn that one?
22 years. It took me a while. And now that I'm in the business, it started to improve, but still, sometimes just growing up the way that I did, and by no means did I grow up hard. But it was like what dad says, it goes. It's hard to, and at a little point in time, I think he's thinking the same way sometimes. Like when you have a debate, oh, what he said goes, but not all the time. So that's a
Yeah.
struggle. But it took me 22 years to figure that out. This is what it is. It's not how we feel.
Yeah. I think that we track numbers in the business. And the old saying is, when there's facts, let's go with the facts. When there's data, let's go with the data. If it's an opinion, let's go with mine.
Yeah.
So I tell people it's math, not magic, and facts just don't care about your feelings. So if you want to
Yeah.
change someone's mind, then you need to bring the facts, right?
Yeah.
And you are entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when you bring those, and we have level 10 meetings every week, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
We
right.
have our quarterly pulsing, our quarterly sessions, and then we walk through those, we look at the numbers, and we make decisions based on real numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about how that's going.
I think the COS it's absolutely killing it. Being able to do these L10s, the L10s is great. There's only 3 of us in there, but I think that's less is sometimes better. just because we can talk about what we can talk about and discuss what we can discuss. And we're not going to, we'll get offended, but we understand we're doing it for the better of Auto Excel. The quarterlies are doing phenomenal. We're learning a lot, knowing what we need to track, knowing the numbers that we need to hit our goals. That's definitely helped out. I think these EOS quarterlies and L10s are helping out the business tenfold.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. If you know our story, our family history, me and Mike see ourselves as the original Barretts because our dad was gone and we
Yeah.
just didn't have any type of legacy or anybody with our last name around. You know, a lot of people, I was talking to somebody the other day, they go, any Barretts in Nashville? I'm like, I don't know any Barretts.
Yeah.
But we were at your house. We were at Mike's house that is no
Yeah.
longer your house.
Yeah. Not anymore.
And we were together and I looked around and every single human that was in that house was a Barrett. And I'm like, we're actually creating a legacy. And when I look around at the humans in there, I'm like, I'm really proud
Yeah.
of the legacy that we are leaving and building. And Auto Excel, it actually was the catapult to starting my business. And
Yeah.
so Auto Excel is the legacy and it's in great hands. I love that. You've got a son and he's really young, but do you ever
Yeah.
see him taking over and working with you?
I really do. And if that's not what he wants to do, that's not what he wants to do. But I really see it. He's my best buddy. When Paul's around, he's Paul's best buddy.
Oh yeah.
So they're two in the same pod. My son is definitely a fan of Mike Barrett.
Oh yeah.
So he is one of those guys, and you can tell at a young age he's a leader now. Like you'll
Mm.
walk around, and Alyssa sent me a picture the other day, and he had grabbed a clipboard and was writing stuff down, finding stuff in his class. He was being followed by two girls, which is the Barrett way already. And then he had another buddy with a clipboard following him. And I'm like, it's just phenomenal. He's 4 years old, and I think he's going to be, and he's not afraid to talk to anybody. And that's something
Yeah.
that I struggle with is like talking to people, but he is not afraid to do
Yeah.
it. So
My
he's going to be able to do it.
my side of the Barretts and not afraid to talk to anybody.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, that's so good, man. And I'm proud of you and I'm proud of our family. And man, this has been a great conversation. Anything else that you want to tell people?
Not really. It's just being young into this, I get to see it get to just take in a whole lot of learning. And that's one thing that I will leave people with is learn. Don't take that for granted. Always be willing to
That's good.
update your home, as Tony Robbins says. Update yourself. So always be willing to grow.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for being a guest, Cole. It's been an absolute pleasure.